Alright Guardians, are you tired of struggling in Destiny 2 and searching for the ultimate build that will take your gameplay to the next level? Well, look no further because today I'm here to introduce you to the Solar Warlock build that will absolutely destroy everything in its path. This build will take advantage of increasing the damage of all your solar ignitions. You're also going to have very good survivability with being able to heal yourself and your allies. And you're also going to be able to have a constant 400% increase to all of your abilities. This Solar Warlock build is a game changer, redefining how you approach Destiny 2. It's not just any ordinary setup, it's a powerhouse that will revolutionize the way you play the game. So Guardians, let's get into it. Now, with the release of the Echo Episodes Act 2, Bungie has given us some new artifact perks that we're going to be taking advantage of, and I'm mainly talking about the Solar Fulmination artifact perk that states that your ignitions do increased damage in an increased radius. Solar ignitions are always good in PvE, but they just got even better. In the background gameplay that you're seeing, it's all Grandmaster level Nightfalls, and as you can see, we're having no problem mowing through tons of ads and taking out champions like it's nothing. So with that artifact perk, we're obviously going to need to build into Scorch a lot, and the best way to take advantage of Scorch on the Warlock is with the Dawn Chorus exotic helmet. Its exotic perk, Rites of Ember, states that your Daybreak projectiles deal more damage and scorch targets on impact. Your Scorch is improved and you gain a small amount of melee energy when your Scorch damages a target. So now your Scorch is going to deal 200% increased damage and it's going to grant 5% melee ability energy per tick. So without any other mods, we're going to have a very high uptime on our melee ability, which is also going to scorch targets in return. And then we pair that with our exotic weapon, the Dragon's Breath, which has the exotic perk Composite Propellant. Rockets embed themselves in a struck target and periodically eject incendiary fuel that inflicts scorch. The longer this weapon goes without firing, the more fuel the next rocket contains. So just with this one exotic weapon alone, we're going to be dealing tons of Scorch all the time, and we haven't even got into our subclass setup yet. Other weapons that will help you get even more Scorch is the new Aberrant Action Sidearm, which comes with Incandescent. You've got the Wild Style Grenade Launcher, which comes with Incandescent. You can use something like the Luna's Howl Hand Cannon that also gets Incandescent. Anything that can help you get those Scorch stacks is greatly going to benefit this build. And we also have the new artifact perk Incendiary Rifle Rounds, which grants your Solar Sniper Rifle precision hits to scorch targets. So you can use something like the Uzume Sniper Rifle or the Aikilo Sniper Rifle. Now for our subclass setup, we're actually going to be on the Solar Dawnblade. I know everybody is all about the prismatic setup, and there is a variation of this setup that you can use on the prismatic Warlock, but there are just way more fragments on the Solar Warlock that synergize better with ignitions and enhance those ignitions. That's why we're on the Solar subclass, not prismatic. We're going to be taking the Song of Flame. Now the Dawn Chorus states that it synergizes with the Daybreak super, but the Song of Flame super is just way better at survivability, and it just makes you more resistant to incoming damage. And while you're in super, your solar and kinetic weapons scorch targets, once again building into the scorch aspect. And while in super, we'll also be able to spam our melee, which will scorch. And we have our grenade ability that sends out a sentient flame wisp that seeks out targets and detonates in a scorching explosion. Then for our abilities, we're taking the Phoenix Dive because it has the lowest cooldown, and this will actually grant you and your allies cure whenever you activate it near them. Then for our melee ability, we're taking the Incinerator Snap. Snap your fingers to create a fan of burning sparks that explode and scorch targets. And we'll be taking the Healing Grenade, a grenade that cures allies on impact, creates an orb of benevolent solar light, granting restoration to allies when picked up. It's really important that you take the Healing Grenade because we're going to be using this build for endgame content, and we're going to need a way to stay alive when we get ourselves into those sticky situations. For our first aspect, we're going to be taking the new Hellion Solar aspect. So whenever we activate our Phoenix Dive, we're going to create a Solar Mortar that lobs flaming projectiles at distant targets, and targets damaged by the mortar are going to be scorched. Once again, building into our Dawn Chorus exotic helmet. The more scorch we apply, the more melee energy we're going to get back. Then we have the Touch of Flame, which is basically just going to make our grenade even better. Our Healing Grenade is going to be improved, so we'll get that cure ×2 and the restoration ×2 instantly instead of just the one stack. Now moving on to the fragments. First up, we're taking the Ember of Char. Our solar ignition spreads scorch to affected targets. This is just going to make our ignitions even better and allow us to have even more uptime on our scorch. Then we have Ember of Ashes. We're going to apply more scorch stacks to targets, so it'll make it that much easier for us to get all of our targets to ignite. This increases the scorch stacks by 50%. Then we have Ember of Empyrean. Solar weapon or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. So restoration continuously regenerates our health and shields over time, and it cannot be interrupted by taking damage, and this will allow us to extend the duration up to 15 seconds. And since we're mainly going to be using solar weapons, we can just have that constant restoration at all times. And we can take advantage of the radiant part of this by the artifact perk Radiant Orbs. While you have a solar or prismatic subclass equipped, picking up an orb of power makes you radiant, and radiant is going to increase our weapon damage by 25%. So just by this one solar fragment, Ember of Empyrean, we're going to have constant healing and constant increase to our weapon damage. Then we have Ember of Benevolence. Applying restoration, cure, or radiant to allies grants increased grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration for a short duration. This fragment right here is very important if you want to spam your abilities. Now for the mods on the helmet, we're taking a Solar Harmonic Siphon. Since we're going to be maining solar weapons, these will create orbs for us. We're also going to want to spam our Dragon's Breath as much as possible, so we have a heavy ammo finder. And I also have a strand weapon in the kinetic slot, so that's why we got another harmonic siphon for strand over here. On the mods for the arms, we have Focusing Strike, grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a powered melee attack, which we're pretty much always going to have a charged melee because of the helmet giving us melee energy back with Scorch, and our fragment giving us 400% ability energy back. So we're also going to be taking heavy-handed, so when we do get a powered melee final blow, we're going to create an orb like that. And we also have a grenade kickstart here, so we're going to get back grenade energy every time we throw a grenade when we have armor charge, because remember, you're going to want to spam your healing grenades at your allies, because that is what's going to give you the 400% increase to ability regeneration. Then on the chest, we have some resistant mods, and we have a charged up mod to increase the maximum number of stacks of armor charge. We want more armor charge because that's going to affect the grenade kickstart mod every time we throw our grenade. Then on the boots, we have Absolution, reduces all ability cooldowns each time we pick up an orb of power. Recuperation is going to replenish our health each time we pick up an orb to help keep us alive in that endgame content. And then we want our grenade up as much as possible, so we also have an Innervation mod, reduces grenade cooldown each time we pick up an orb. For the class item, we got a Reaper mod. After we use our class ability, the next weapon final blow will spawn an orb. And then we have two Bomber mods, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability to get that grenade back even faster. And then looking at the artifact, you're going to need to take Elemental Siphon, so that rapid final blows with a kinetic weapon or a weapon matching your equipped super create an elemental pickup. So since we're using solar weapons, when we get final blows with it, it's going to create a fire sprite, which is going to give us more grenade energy. Like I said earlier, we have the Radiant Orbs, so we become radiant when picking up orbs. You're going to need the Solar Fulmination, obviously, to increase the damage and radius of our ignitions. And you're also going to need to take Shield Crush, so that while we're radiant, our grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage. And Guardians, that is the build. There will be a dim link in the pinned comment if you guys want to try this out. And if you guys do try it out, let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments. It's very strong, very high uptime on your abilities, tons of ignitions, and there is a good amount of healing in this build that'll keep you alive in the endgame content. If you guys are new here and found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed the content, follow me over on Twitch for the live streams, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.